In this video, I wanted to discuss the Backrooms movie, more importantly, what the plot of the movie is going to be. I feel like this is going to be a good discussion because I've seen a lot of conversation around a lot of the shots that are in the trailers, but not so much the plot around the whole movie and what the story is going to be. So I thought this video would be a good breakdown of all the trailers, so we can try to figure out what the story is going to be for the Backrooms movie. So let's figure it out. So as I break this all down, I'm going to be playing the first 3 trailers that were dropped from A24 and Kane Pixels. And then afterwards, I'm going to play a series of clips that I think were all collected from the Backrooms TikTok page or the A24 TikTok page, one of the two. And after I play the trailers for you and clips for you, I'm going to discuss them afterwards. Alright, so the first trailer I'm going to show you is the official first Backrooms trailer dropped by A24 and Kane Pixels. And after the video plays, we're going to discuss it afterwards.
I found something.
Okay. What did you find?
Found a place. It's massive in there. It just goes on and on and on. All these rooms. This place built them. Actually, more like it remembers them. And the more times it remembers something, the less it does.
Alright, that was a pretty cool first trailer. So in this first trailer, we can hear Dr. Mary Klein talking to Clark about what he discovered in his downstairs furniture store. And he is talking about how he found these rooms that just so happen to be on this other side of the wall in his furniture store. And he talks about how the rooms, the more it remembers something, the less it does. And if you go back to my first video, I theorized that the Backrooms builds based off of the world's memories. So that's why majority of the spaces are office spaces and pool rooms, residential. It's because that's mostly the world's memories, you know, that's a lot of what the world consists of. And in this first trailer, you can also see a room with a couch, a window, and slowly as it goes through the phases of the room, it's still remembering itself, but it's slowly, I think, in a weird way, having amnesia and in a way forgetting the room, which is strange in a way, but I think this also somehow ties into the Backrooms having a connection with Ivan Beck's mind and him having amnesia himself. But as far as the plot goes, this first trailer doesn't give us much in terms of the plot. It really just tells us that the Backrooms exists, and we just know that the person that found him is Clark, the owner of the furniture store, and he is telling his therapist, Dr. Mary Klein, and that's really all we get. But it doesn't give us much in terms of the plot. So we're going to go straight into the next trailer, which shows a whole lot more, and we can dissect a lot more from the scenes. So let's do it.
I found something. In the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
हम जमीन के रहने वालों की तरफ से
Hello?
आपको खुश आमदीद कहते हैं।
Anyone there? Look, I know how this sounds, but you gotta understand, it's massive in there.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back here with proof. All right, you feel me?
Yeah.
Follow my lead.
Clark, what is this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been here every night since I found the place, and I still barely scratched the surface. All right, just take it slow.
Oh my God. Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up! What do you see? All these rooms. This place builds them. It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
Clark, can you hear me? I don't understand. What is this?
It's beautiful. Am I right?
Hello?
Now that is a good first promotional trailer. After I saw this trailer, this was the trailer that made me buy tickets to go watch this movie, because after seeing those visuals, there was no way I wasn't gonna watch this, because I absolutely love watching Kane Parsons Backroom series on YouTube. So just imagining it on the big screen is insane, and I can't believe that it's already about to happen so soon. But with that, after watching the first trailer, let's dive into it and see what we can dissect from it. Alright, so from the first opening shots, we can see what I presume to be the first time Clark comes into contact with the Backrooms via this null zone that appears in the, I guess, basement of his furniture store. And when he inspects it further, this is the first time he comes into contact with the Backrooms, because he falls into it. And we could see he explores further, trying to see what exactly this place is, because I'm sure he doesn't know any of what's going on with async and everything. But as this trailer continues, we can see Clark talk to his therapist, Dr. Mary Klein, about these strange rooms that he found in his furniture store. And the more he talks about them, I think Dr. Mary Klein seems to just think that the rooms that Clark found are just some sort of hallucination in his head, and she doesn't quite believe him. She believes him to an extent, but she thinks it's more on a mental level, the way he's talking about these rooms. And because she doesn't believe Clark, he tells Mary Klein, I'm going to get evidence, and I'm going to come back and show you the evidence. So with that, Clark goes and gets Bobby and Kat to help him get evidence so he can show Dr. Mary Klein. But remember, this is not the first time Clark has entered the back rooms. He's gone on many expeditions into this place by himself and explored the place by himself, right? And in one of the shots, you can see Clark trying to look for the null zone in which he entered in the first place, but he can't seem to find it, meaning the null zone can open, but it can also close when it wants. So I'm not sure if Clark found his way out through another null zone, or if the null zone that he originally came into opened back up at a different time. Now again, I bring up Clark's first couple expeditions into the backrooms because I think through one of the first times he went into the backrooms, he came into contact with the entity that's in the backrooms, right? And he had to get the hell out of there, so he did. But even when Clark managed to escape, I think Clark still had a fascination with the rooms, right? And so he still kept going back. So even though there's this random entity, whatever it is, you know, he doesn't know what it is that's in this space. The fact of the matter is, there's this random space that seems endless in the basement of my furniture store. That is crazy, you know, and I'm sure that's what Clark is thinking, you know. Whatever is in the back rooms is the least of his worries. He's more worried about, you know, there's this giant space in the basement of my furniture store, and I think that fascination is what he's more worried about, rather than whatever he almost came into contact with through one of the first times he went into the back rooms. So with Clark's fascination with the rooms growing stronger, he wants people to know about the rooms, right? Where did these rooms come from? Have they always been here? And, you know, why are they so strangely built like this? So he wants people to know about these rooms, right? So when he's going to get footage for Dr. Mary Klein as evidence, he gets Bobby and he gets Kat. But I think he neglects to tell them the fact that there is something lurking in these rooms that he doesn't know about. And I think that's mainly just because he had a run-in with one of the first times he went into the back rooms. I don't think he ever actually got to see what the entity actually was. I think he just got spooked by the sounds it was making, and he just got out of there. But even after escaping his first encounter with the entity, I think he never really knew how much danger he truly was in, right? He must have probably just thought whatever he heard was just the sounds that the backrooms makes, you know? Maybe it was the wind. So I think when Clark went to go get Bobby and Kat so they could film in the backrooms, I think in that expedition, that's when things start to go awry. And we can assume that once all this action stuff starts to happen, this is the moment that Bobby, Kat, and Clark get lost in the back rooms. And that causes Kat to start looking for Clark to see where he is at, because he has stopped showing up to her sessions. Now that's everything I've pretty much gathered so far from the first two trailers that have dropped. I know it sounds like a pretty crazy theory of Clark finding this spot, knowing that there's something that lurks in the back rooms, but being too fascinated and wanting to tell people about the rooms, he ignores the fact that there might be something dangerous in the back rooms, and ultimately ends up not only getting himself killed, but people around himself that he probably cares about killed as well. But yeah, that's the first 2 trailers that we've saw, and that is what I've assessed so far from these first 2 trailers. Now let's get into the 3rd and final trailer.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Keep up. It only gets better. You got the camera, right? Or you can borrow it again.
You still haven't told us what we're doing here, man.
I did tell you. Research.
What the fuck?
All these places and buildings, rooms, misremembering themselves. It's a real mess. But also beautiful. In a way. No?
Clark, where are we?
Now this trailer was only a minute long, but man, did it give us a lot to unpack. And it also has a few shots that help my theory as well, which I will get into. Now back to my theory on Clark. So my thinking is that during one of the first times that he goes into the back rooms, he encounters an entity, or almost comes into contact with it without actually seeing what the entity truly is. And in this clip, you can see that he's wearing the same outfit from trailer 1, where we can presume that that was the first time that he went into the complex. So my thinking is that he found this place, he went into this place, and he started exploring. But while he was exploring for the first time, he must have heard something or seen something that spooked him, right? Which made him start to run back. But if you see in the way that he runs back with a pace that says, like, I'm frightened by what I heard, but I don't know if it's gonna kill me yet. I don't know how deadly it is. You know what I mean? Because the way he's running, it's not with that much urgency, but it's enough urgency to know that you are not in a place where you're supposed to be. And whatever you heard, you do not like, and you need to get out of there, which is what Clark exactly did. So with finally managing to get out of the back rooms, he's pretty excited about what he just found, whole new space, seems weirdly constructed, but seems super cool, and he wants to tell people about it. So this further proves my theory, with this clip from the final trailer that connects with the clip from the first trailer. This helps support my theory that Clark found these rooms. He had a run-in with the entity at least once, which spooked him enough to get him to leave himself, but it didn't spook him enough to stop exploring the backrooms further. So he continued exploring the backrooms further, and even got some help by bringing Bobby and Kat into the picture. But if you want people to come and help you explore these random rooms that seem randomly constructed, you can't just go to them and say, hey, yo, I found these rooms, and they are crazy looking, but there might be something deadly in there. So I think Clark intentionally hides the fact that he heard something in there. So he goes to Kat and Bobby, and he asks them, hey, do you guys have a camcorder that we can use to videotape these random areas for research.
You still haven't told us what we're doing here, man.
I did tell you. Research.
So, in this expedition where Clark takes Bobby and Kat to go into the back rooms, I think this is the final expedition where things finally start to happen. And this is where the entity finally starts to strike at Clark, Bobby, and Kat and starts to go after them. And that leads them to get lost in the back rooms, right? But we also have to remember the back rooms alters time. So while they're all getting chased and running around getting lost in the back rooms, we truly don't know how long they're in there for. So by the time Dr. Mary Klein starts to come looking for Clark while he is trapped in the back rooms with Bobby and Kat, who knows how much time could have passed in between the time where he stepped into his null zone with Bobby and Kat to the point in time where Dr. Mary Klein comes to his furniture store and starts looking for him. It could have been a week. It could have been a month. I'm not really sure. Most likely it was a couple of days. But after Dr. Mary Klein goes to his furniture store and starts looking for him, and once she enters the null zone that she sees with blue tape on the wall, I'm gonna assume that while Clark, Bobby, and Kat were getting chased by the entity in the back rooms, Bobby and Kat split up with Clark somewhere down the line when they were running. And I feel like that's the case because in a later shot, we can see Bobby looking for Kat in the pool rooms.
Kat? Where are you?
But we can also see a shot where Dr. Mary Klein is in the back rooms with the same outfit that she wore when she was looking for him. And she is standing with Clark, and they're both looking at a doorway, most likely looking at whatever is making noise coming from that direction, aka the entity. But if you also look closely at the outfit that he's wearing, you can see that Clark is wearing the same outfit that he wore when he entered the back rooms with Bobby and Kat.
You got the camera, right? Or you can borrow it again.
You still haven't told us what we're doing here, man.
I did tell you. Research.
Doing here, man.
I did tell you. Research.
Doing here, man.
I did tell you. Research.
So after seeing that he's been wearing the outfit for quite some time, I presume, up until Dr. Mary Klein finds him, this further backs my theory that when he went into the complex to do research, quote unquote, with Bobby and Kat, they came into contact with an entity or whatever it was, which caused them to get lost in the back rooms for however long they ended up staying in there. And during the midst of, Clark being chased and running around these endless rooms, Dr. Mary Klein comes to find Clark and enters the back rooms herself. And we can assume that while Clark is exploring and while Mary Klein is trying to find Clark, they somehow run into each other. But I think in this shot, when they first hear this monster and everything, I think this is the first time they actually meet up with each other once again. And I also think this is the point of the movie where I think Bobby and Kat are dead at this point. I think they did get gotten by the entity, unfortunately. which leaves Clark and Dr. Mary Klein as the only survivors left in the back rooms. Now, as for async in this movie, there's not really much to theorize in terms of async, because we've already done a whole lot of theorizing just off of Kane Parsons' Backroom series. I feel like that series on YouTube already explains enough, or we've already theorized enough about async. We already have a pretty good idea of what they're about, what their goals are, and pretty much everything like that. So, in terms of async in this movie, I think we pretty much know what to expect. They're the bad guys, and if they do come across anything in terms of these characters, most likely they just want to cover them up. They don't need the public to know about the Backrooms just yet, They still need to figure things out. They need to figure out what's going on with the entities. They need to figure out how they can control these rooms, and so on. So if you look at this new promotional picture for the Backrooms, you can see Clark sitting at a table with a knife on the table, candle, cups, plates, everything looks nice, and it is in the Backrooms, right? But what you can also see is he's wearing the same outfit that he was wearing when he went into the complex with Bobby and Kat when they were supposed to do their research. But after the entity started chasing them and Clark and Bobby and Kat split up, I think Clark got lost in the rooms for however long, and my theory is that he got captured by Async, and Async decided to have a discussion with him about what exactly. I think they're going to have a sit down with Clark and truly talk about what this space actually is, because in another frame we can see Clark in the same setting, same clothes at the table, but he's crying, but it seems like a crying smile, almost as if he can't believe what he's hearing. It's one of those moments where it's like, you have to be lying, there's no way this is real kind of moment. Now, what that revelation will be, I'm not really sure, but I think based off of this revelation that he has, that either Async gives him or that he just comes up with himself, he manages to flee from Async and get away. And while running away, I think this is the moment where he runs into Dr. Mary Klein after he escapes Async. Now, in terms of where the story goes after this, I don't know. Maybe the world ends. Maybe Async finally manages to create a stable threshold for the complex. I'm not really sure. We're gonna have to find out when the movie comes out. But after me yapping about the Backrooms for almost 30 minutes now, let me give you a concise summary of what I think the plot of the movie is going to be. So I think the Backrooms is going to be about Clark and him finding this null zone in his furniture store. I think Clark explores the complex, obviously, a couple of times before he tells anyone, but I think he knows that there is something in the complex. He just doesn't want to tell anyone because the rooms are just so interesting and weird. But it could also be due to ignorance as well. Again, I don't think he ever truly saw anything in the back rooms as of yet. I think he just got spooked enough by sounds, enough to make him leave, but not enough to make him stop exploring the complex further. So the first person I would assume Clark tells about the back rooms is his therapist, Dr. Mary Klein. So he goes and tells his therapist about these rooms in the back, right? And she does not believe him, so he tells her that he will come back with proof, video proof. So with that, he gets help from Kat and Bobby to do research, knowing that they don't know what exactly is in the complex themselves. Again, to him, the space seems too cool to not explore, and he wants to show it off. So when Clark goes into the back rooms for research with Kat and Bobby, they run into an entity that causes them to lose track of their steps and get lost, being unable to find their original null zone that they came through. And in the midst of getting lost, I think Clark gets separated from Bobby and Kat. Most likely he got captured by Async at this point, and Kat and Bobby continue to try to get away. But I also think that Kat and Bobby get separated themselves along the way and eventually meet their demise not long after. Being in the complex for so long must have altered time for Clark, making it seem as if he was in the complex for a number of days, when really he was probably in there for less than a day. But having this time alteration and having it seem like Clark has been gone for days, this must have been concerning for Mary Klein, not seeing her client. So she goes out looking for him at his furniture store and entering the null zone that Clark found in his basement. And at this point, I would assume that when Mary Klein is in the complex looking for Clark, around this time, I would assume this is the point where Clark escapes from the Async researchers and runs away. And during this run, he just so happens to run into Mary Klein, who is looking for him. And at this point, I think this is the moment that they just want to get out of there. You know, after everything that Clark's encountered, and everything after Mary Klein's scene, yeah, I would want out of there as well. As fascinating as the Backrooms is, the fact of the matter is there is something in here that wants to kill them. So while Clark and Dr. Mary Klein run away, I think Clark gets captured and killed by the entity, hence why Dr. Klein has blood splatter all over her face. And as she runs away, I think Mary runs into a group of Async researchers because the hallway she goes into shows the same tropical wallpaper. And I think at the same time, she leads the entity towards the Async research members, taking the heat off of her. Now, while she is the only one left alive at this point, I don't think she ever makes it out of the complex. As we know, the complex is not fair. It does what it wants, and it has its own rules. So even if she finds another null zone, who's to say that that null zone isn't 3,000 feet up in the air in Earth's atmosphere, right? We don't truly know. But with that, that is the conclusion to my summary on what I think the plot of the Backrooms movie is going to be. I know it was a bit rough, and I know a lot of things were patched together, and it may not make sense, but from all the trailers that I've seen and all the lore that I know, this is my theory, and this is what I think makes sense with the movie, and this is what I think is going to happen. So if you have managed to sit through this whole 30 minutes of me yapping about the Backrooms, thank you. I hope you enjoyed my theory, and I hope my theory adds to the conversation of the Backrooms, because I'm not going to lie. I don't think I have seen my theory out there at all, with the whole idea of Clark finding the rooms and him intentionally not telling the rest of everyone he knows about what lurks in the Backrooms. I don't think I've seen that many discussions around that theory, so I think I'm definitely entering new territory in terms of that. But yeah, I am super excited for this Backrooms movie. I can't wait to see what the plot actually is, and I can't wait to make a video afterwards comparing my original theory to the actual plot that's going to be in the movie. And I can't wait for you guys to see that, and I can't wait for you guys to go and watch the movie yourselves. I know it is going to be a trip. And with that, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. And yeah, let's get lost in the back rooms.